Who was Dale Carnegie? Dale Carnegie was born into poverty on November 24, 1888, in Maryville, Missouri. Prior to teaching public speaking at a YMCA, he worked as a traveling salesman. With the help of his groundbreaking self-help book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, he was able to grow the Dale Carnegie Institute internationally. In 1955, he passed away in Queens, New York. Modest beginnings. On November 24, 1888, in Maryville, Missouri, Dale Carnegie, a well-known novelist and lecturer, was born. James William and Amanda Elizabeth Carnegie, his parents, were struggling farmers. In middle school, Carnegie's family relocated to Warrensburg, Missouri. Even though Carnegie was not athletically gifted as a youngster, he discovered that his ability to utilize words allowed him to get respect from others and create friends. Carnegie routinely attended Chautauqua assemblies while still in high school. These gatherings featured well-known speakers, singers, performers, and preachers, and they provided entertainment to rural towns across the nation. The speakers he heard at these events motivated Carnegie to join the school debate team, where he developed his oratory skills. Public speaking classes. After a brief stint in acting, Carnegie understood that his success as a salesperson was largely due to the public speaking ability that students had asked him to teach them. He convinced Young Men's Christian Association YMCA to provide him a location to start evening sessions, in exchange for a share of the earnings for his plan to offer adult public speaking classes. The classes proved an immediate success. Focused on the everyday needs of business people, Carnegie taught his students how to interview well, make persuasive presentations, and forge positive relationships. His students would often come to class each week with stories of how they had put the skills they learned the previous week to successful use in their workplaces. Within 2 years, the courses had achieved such popularity that Carnegie moved them out of the YMCA and founded his own Dale Carnegie Institute to accommodate the growing number of students. The courses were a quick success. By concentrating on the typical requirements of businesses, Carnegie showed his pupils how to conduct effective interviews, deliver compelling presentations, and establish trusting bonds. Each week, his pupils would frequently show up to class with tales of how they had successfully applied the knowledge they had learned the week before in the business. The classes became so well known within 2 years that Carnegie relocated them out of the YMCA and established his own Dale Carnegie Institute to meet the rising enrollment. He wrote his first book, Public Speaking and Influencing Men of Business, which he used as a textbook for his classes, and it was published in 1913. Soon after the publication of the book, Carnegie changed the spelling of his name from a Carnegie to a Carnegie. The change in spelling caused people to identify his seminars and books with the illustrious Carnegie family, even though he was unrelated to them, which was a great, if possibly a little dishonest, business strategy. How to win friends and influence people. In order to better serve the needs of his professional students, Carnegie continuously improved his curriculum over the course of the following 20 years. He believed that the most prosperous businesses in any particular industry were those with the finest people skills, not the most technical knowledge. His students required to acquire the social and communication skills that set the leaders of all industries apart, in addition to successful public speaking approaches. Carnegie discovered there was no textbook on the subject as he began to teach his students these essential abilities. Carnegie wrote precisely such a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, in 1936 after years of diligent research that included reading hundreds of biographies to learn how the world's best leaders earned their success. Despite having only 5,000 copies printed at first, the book quickly shot to the top of the bestseller list. Similar to how his classes were well received, Carnegie's book sold approximately 5 million copies throughout his lifetime and was translated into every major language. Effects on adult education and personal development. How to Win Friends and Influence People's success helped the Dale Carnegie Institute become extremely well known. The institute spread throughout Andrew Carnegie's lifetime to 750 American towns and 15 other nations. The Carnegie Institute's administrative offices were relocated to a 5-story brownstone warehouse in Manhattan in 1953. At the time of his passing in 1955, an estimated 450,000 students had enrolled in his courses worldwide. In addition to teaching, Carnegie also published biographies because he thought that reading about the most successful people in history was the greatest way to understand the keys to success. Carnegie released a biography of Abraham Lincoln in 1932. Carnegie married Dorothy Price Vanderpool in 1944 after his first marriage, which began in 1931, ended in divorce. She was crucial to the growth of the Dale Carnegie Institute, particularly in helping it create programs and courses for the new generation of professional young women. At the age of 66, Carnegie passed away from Hodgkin's disease on November 1, 1955. Carnegie was a pioneer in the disciplines of self-improvement and adult education, and his writings and seminars served as the basis for an entire nonfiction writing subgenre. How to Win Friends and Influence People is still relevant and helpful to professional men and women decades after it was first published, despite the boom of more contemporary self-help books that have been created in recent years.